Yeah. Hello. I've seen
Hi.
a picture behind you before. It's beautiful. The
Oh,
jump.
thank you.
Yeah. You kind of broke up there. What was that?
Oh, I was just talking about the path. That's my journey.
Yeah, there we go. Beautiful. Well, thank you for joining us. Let's see here. Okay, so we had about 32 signups, so we'll kind of wait a few minutes as well for anybody who's joining in with us. But I guess while we're waiting, would you like to share with me a little bit about what do you know about family constellations?
So I have a friend that does facilitates family constellations where I live. So I've been the client at least 3 times and a participant like 4 times. Um, and I love it.
So would you like to share why you love it?
Um, because it gets at things in a way, a totally different way than anything else that I've seen. You know, it's so different from therapy and watching like sometimes when people are playing me, the perspective of seeing me as a kid and that perspective was is amazing and just the ability to step into this quantum field of um other people I find fascinating. I've
Yeah.
only done it with her, so I don't know if like I mean I've seen an online one done before using a computer program. Um, but so I feel like I've just seen it, this particular way, and I don't know if people do it differently.
Okay, awesome. Were you at the Conscious Life Expo when I was there live? No? Okay. Okay.
No, a friend of
So,
mine just sent me your email like a couple weeks ago.
oh,
So,
cool.
and then
Awesome.
I got your book on Kindle and I started reading it.
Oh,
Um,
awesome.
yeah,
Okay, so you have started the ebook?
yeah,
Okay, awesome. Very cool.
yeah.
Nice. So it sounds like you have definitely experienced it, but maybe not to like a very wide extent. So you've only seen one facilitator so far?
Yeah,
Okay. And
yeah.
where exactly are you from?
I'm in Portland, Oregon.
Oh, I love Oregon. That's one of my favorite places. I've driven there and just hung out for days. Um,
Where are you?
I'm in California.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
North, south.
I'm in more towards like Southern California, so towards like Orange County, that area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, awesome. Well, let's see. It seems like it's just us. That's so odd. I've sent out. Did you get like the reminders and stuff? The
I
email?
did, and I just clicked on the email.
Okay. Well, it's possible we can do a one-on-one. Maybe that's just kind of what the field wants to do today.
Wow.
And also the last one I did online, we had like four people, and then one person jumped in like right before our constellation was about to begin. So uh she was kind of perfect timing. So I guess we'll just trust the flow here and I'll kind of just get started as well. Because we have 2 hours together. So perfect. Okay, so when you have done constellations, have you heard a little bit about the breakdown of what it is or where it comes from?
A little bit.
Okay, well, I'll go ahead and go through it as well, just for also people who
Yeah.
are watching or as the replay goes. So, this work began with a man named Bert Hellinger. So, Bert Hellinger, he didn't create this, but mostly he went on his own spiritual journey, and from everything that he learned up along his path, he brought it all together and named it Family Constellation. So, this comes from many different modalities, like traditional psychotherapy. He was a psychotherapist. He also was very interested in neurolinguistic programming. He learned from people like Viktor Frankl, Virginia Satir, and also Milton Erickson. So Milton Erickson dove into the subconscious mind and also hypnosis. And so not only that, but one of his biggest influences was the Zulu tribe in Africa. And for them, they really believed that whatever we were going through in our life currently had to do with our ancestors, the things we carried genetically that started before we even got here. So maybe it was like, oh, my mother did this thing. And so, or maybe it's my mother lost a child and she never processed her sadness. And so I can't have children. And so they looked at life this way. And to him, he found it very fascinating. And that really informed a lot of the work he would do later. And also things like how he grew up. He grew up in Germany. So this began in Germany. And it's just kind of in recent years started to kind of grow across in the United States, but also many other countries. It's very widely known in places like Turkey and Spain, even Italy. So it's kind of cool. So it has spread quite a bit since he started it, but it's probably only like 50 years ago, I would say, in the last at least 100 years, it was like started by Bert Hellinger. And so that's kind of the origins of family constellations, but it goes by many names. So it could be systemic constellations, which kind of can deal with money issues. It can deal with business organizations and, wide variety. So it's kind of gone off in its own little veins, starting from family constellations, and every facility to bring something new. So that's a little bit about where it started from or who began family constellations or named it that. And I want to dive into a little bit about my journey of how I got into constellations. So since you started the book, have you gotten to the ending of my journey where I start talking about constellations yet?
Um, I can't remember.
Yeah, okay, no, that's okay. So in my book, it's the book that she's referring to is called A Journey into Truth, Unveiling Life's Secrets for Truth Seekers. And in that book, the first, I don't know, probably in like the first 50 pages, I talk about my journey of what led me to first starting a spiritual or metaphysical journey, which was I had a lot of turmoil, which I know that a lot of people who maybe are watching or rewatching this are going through hardships in their lives. And then that's kind of informing them looking for new alternative ways for healing or shifting their life in some way. And that was me when I was 19. So at the age of 16, I had cancer. So I had thyroid cancer and had that removed. And it was just many things, like one after the other was happening. So the cancer thing happened. So I got very afraid of dying even because I had my parathyroids taken out with my thyroid, which wasn't supposed to happen during surgery. And then that led, parathyroid deals with calcium production. And so that led to me like twitching and not knowing what was happening. So I ended up at the emergency room. And that moment was very scary for me because it was like uh, right on the edge of like life and death. Like I'm only 16 years old. I don't know, what's going to happen. And then also at 17 years old, I had an attempt to end my life, also because of a heartbreak that I was experiencing and just many things. But now I can look back and see kind of my soul's journey and how it was all there to kind of lead me onto my life's path and what I was meant to be doing here or my soul wanted to do here. So when I was 19 years old, I was in college and in an English classroom, and this guy, his name is Alec Johnson. He actually teaches music therapy now, so he kind of went on his own journey of teaching as well. But I met him and we actually never spoke, but he sat at the front of the classroom. And I remember feeling very drawn towards him, even though he didn't speak much. And I didn't understand why I felt that way until the last day of class. And on that day, he stood up and gave a presentation because we were supposed to do like a research paper kind of thing. And his presentation was about the power of music to heal people. And he sang a song and played his guitar and kind of shared about Albert Einstein and how energy can shift, our emotions and how it can help to heal us. And I remember, like I said, there was so much chaos happening before that moment. And I remember that was a moment where I felt so calm and at peace. And something I couldn't access was some of the things I was running to for that feeling. So I was being given prescription medications by doctors for anxiety, for sleep medicine. Like, I won't give names, but they were not good ones that you should be taking at 16. or 17, whatever the age is, or even as an adult, shouldn't be taking those. Really dangerous. Uh, but yeah, so I was looking for that sense of peace and that sense of like coming home to myself unconsciously. And in that moment when he sang that song, I just had chills all over. And it was like realization and was like, oh, I don't need those things to access this feeling that I have right now just listening to him playing music. And then that shifted everything. So that night, I went home and started researching about metaphysics, the law of attraction, energy, and then I got sucked into like Abraham Hicks and Esther Hicks, and then that really kicked off my journey. So she was like my guiding light uh, in the beginning stages of my journey. Abraham Hicks is a channeler, or Esther Hicks is a channeler who channels a being named Abraham Hicks. And they just share about like spirit guides and how you can connect to your intuition. They can speak to you, guide you in your life, and just that you're a spiritual being and you're creating your reality. So I like ate everything up. I would go to the library looking specifically for Esther Hicks and even just looking into metaphysics and different ways to heal. And yeah, it was really powerful because, like I said, I had been looking for other ways in very unhealthy ways. And this was a new way that I found that was very beautiful for me. And yeah, so many things I learned along that journey. And since then, it's been about 10 years because I'm going to be 29 coming up soon here. So it's been 10 years and I've learned many things and gone in many different directions and paths, like spiritual festivals, different sound healings, different kinds of breathwork meditations, different meditations, just any and every way I could learn about healing. That was what I was doing. And along the way, I met a woman at one of those spiritual festivals. So it was called the One Love Fest here in California. And it's kind of funny because I ran into Alec at that festival. Alec, the guy that introduced me to this work, and it was years later. And I kind of stopped him and was like, "Hey, do you remember me? Like, you changed my life."
But he
And
was
then
happy.
what's that?
But he was happy to hear that.
Yeah, he was like, "That's crazy." So kind of funny because I was very grateful, even though he probably didn't know how powerful that moment was that he shared that thing for somebody else's life who maybe wouldn't be here without him. So yeah, yeah, he saved my life that day. So um, yeah, so at that festival, it's called the One Love Fest. I was actually in a meditation with Alex, so he was playing music, and I felt called to go see him live, and he was playing for the group. And during that meditation, I had this visual of uh, crystals that I should go buy a crystal. And I was not into crystals at that time. Even though I had learned many different healing modalities, I never really felt super called to learning about crystals or, things like that. So it was kind of odd that I had this realization, like, you should go buy one. So I listened. So right after that meditation with Alec, I walked over to one specific booth that I felt drawn to. And it was this company called Brighter Living Organics. And she had like crystals in a like a an L shape in her little booth. It was a small business. And then she also had these posters talking about her retreats to Peru, how she takes people on journeys where you get to meet people like the Matses tribe in the jungle, the Shipibos do ayahuasca. She was a combo healer. And I was like, what are all these things I never heard of? And yeah, she was very into just like jungle medicine. So it's kind of funny we got the jungle here today. That's what I was saying. I love that picture. That was actually in Karen's house. That's why I'm saying I've seen it before because it was in her house. So yeah, it's kind of funny. So I met Karen and we got to talking and she told me about how she was opening up this spiritual booth, right? And I was like, oh, I live right by where you're going to be opening it. And she was like, I need someone to work for me because it's opening next weekend and I don't know who's going to be there. I was like, how go? So I got that job and didn't even give a resume. It was just like, here you go. And so I worked for her as a person who shared about crystals and she was teaching me about them. And also I was helping her to sell like jungle medicines like dragon's blood, which is like an anti-inflammatory. And in the jungle, they use it for cuts. So if you get a cut, you put dragon's blood because it's antibacterial. Or even if you have like tummy issues, it's good for that. And so, yeah, just different things like that. I was helping to educate people while being educated about it. Then she ended up taking me to the jungle, right? So I went and did ayahuasca in the jungle, and you'll read about that in the book if you're interested. But uh, yeah, so then the reason I bring up Karen is because she was a very integral part to me coming to Constellations. So her teacher's name is Sonia Arias, and I had worked for Karen for an entire year and had never even been mentioned the name Sonia as her Reiki teacher until I did a combo ceremony with Karen. And I was telling her that at that time I was going through a lot with my family. So there was abuse happening in the house while I was working at that booth. So that was kind of like my little escape for peace and just to kind of be out working and meeting beautiful people. So it was kind of like odd because it was a lot of chaos and ugliness at home, but then it was also just this beautiful quietness when I was at the booth. So it was kind of a big dichotomy there. But I was sharing with her what I was going through. And uh, now I can look back and see that maybe it was because when we are about to face a big shift, our egos can kind of kick up a fight because you don't want to change something. And especially when I'm about to get into family constellations, this work is so transformational and so powerful, which you kind of said you've encountered. So you feel like maybe the family knew or could feel unconsciously that some big shifts were about to happen. So so I was sharing with Karen that this was happening, right? And she goes, I know somebody, and we're going to be having this little gathering next weekend. And so I went, and that was the first time I met Sonia. And she had helped like do a healing, and we talked about kind of my family stuff. And it felt very familial, even just being there with Karen and with Sonia. It was like these are also family members, even though we're strangers, right? And probably like past lives, I'm sure, somehow connected. And then, yeah, Sonia was telling me her roommate had just moved out. And I was like, oh, I need to leave where I'm at right now. And this was right around COVID times, just like, what, 5 years ago now. And uh, she was like, okay, well, she kind of opened up this space. And then she said, if you help me like create my garden and like help decorate, then we can do this kind of trade. You pay for your rent, but we can do a trade where you can start learning what I teach. And she'd been doing it for 15 years. So she taught me Reiki and she taught me family constellations. And that was my introduction to constellations, right out of all of that chaos. Then moving into a time of deep healing and deep ancestral connection and releasing a lot of the stuff that I probably carried from generations ago. And that's why I know how powerful this work is because I've been through seeing so many different healing modalities from all over the world as well. And then coming to this and really knowing the power of it. And it was really a beautiful introduction as well. So yeah, so that's a little bit about how I got to Constellations and became a facilitator, or my soul was ready to become a facilitator because I didn't even know what it was. I just heard the name and was like, "Hey, I'll be a facilitator." and had never even done a constellation. I just ended up in a training, so kind of funny. So, but yeah, I wanted to share a little bit about that journey for also people who are watching who are maybe curious about this and how I got to it. Uh, I'll also talk a little bit about the process. So we utilize, you already said the word, the quantum field. And so that is a name it can go by. So you can call it, like physics would call it the quantum field, which means kind of like an energetic healing field or all-knowing field that has no time, it has no boundaries. It's like everything all at once. It's not like our human perception of time. And so we utilize that. Bert Hellinger would call it the morphogenic field. And I've heard it by other names, but I just call it the field. And that's kind of what you would hear facilitators call it. And so we utilize that. And what happens in a constellation is someone will sit next to me if we're in person. If it's like this online, which we'll do one with you as well if you're ready to do one. But if it's like this, then it's like well, let's start first with if it's a group session. So I'll have someone sit next to me, and then in the group, we have people sitting around us. And it's kind of like a big circle. So we have an opening inside of the group. And then someone comes up as my client and says, I want to work on this thing. So as facilitator, I tune in to my presence and become very relaxed. And I'll feel called to ask them certain questions. So I might even ask questions about your family members. I'll ask questions about your childhood, what happened in your childhood, or past relationships you've had. So it's all very dependent on whatever issue you come with. And then once I feel like your emotions have come up to the surface and are ready to kind of be seen, then I will be guided by the field to bring in representatives from the group. So this is in person, like group work. So I'll ask my client to go choose somebody to represent. Let's say she was having issues with her mother and there was a lot of fighting here. So I'll say, choose someone to represent your mother. So she'll look around and tune in, come become present, and then go choose someone to represent her mother and bring her into the field. So this opening we have in the field. Then I'll say, choose someone to represent you, which is what you were sharing, was you get to see from the outside somebody experiencing maybe emotions you are not necessarily consciously ready to experience. And so it opens up the space where they can be ready to help process and experience, and you can watch it from the outside happening. It's very powerful for your subconscious mind as well. And we all become very interconnected. It's very miraculous in a way that I can't really describe, but it's really beautiful when you get to see it in person. And words can't really do it justice. So that's what happens in a basic way. Uh, Also, as a facilitator, I might be guided by the field to do healing sentences, is what it's called. So ask the mother to say, it's not yours to carry. And then those healing sentences, the purpose of these is to help the energy to move. And you'll see people taking deep breaths, like, okay, a release just happened when that was said, or it can be released in emotion. So it might be a sadness that gets processed. And yeah, so that's kind of a little bit about what happens in the process. And if it's a one-on-one session, it's a little different because we don't have people as representatives. So maybe that's what we'll be doing here, but we can use items. So I have, what I usually use is called shadow cards, where there's a picture deck, and then there's a deck that has words on it. And we use these as representatives, and it's kind of the same process, but an energy can shift as well very deeply, maybe sometimes even deeper for some people who aren't ready to do it in a whole group setting. And it can be very powerful that way as well. So yeah, so it can be done one-on-one, it can be done over Zoom, and it can be done in group settings as well. All of them are very beautiful and very powerful because in this work, it is energetic. It is no boundaries in our place, in our setting, right? We can connect here even though you might be across the world. And I've had, like, I did one, it's called the Butterfly Constellations. It's on my YouTube channel for free, actually. I gave that one as a replay for free. So if you're interested, go on to Vibrate to Create YouTube channel. But yeah, so on that one, there's people from India that were like having their processes. Pretty beautiful. I've had Romania, it's pretty cool. So yeah, so that's kind of the process. So would you like to, do you feel like you're ready to work today, Kim?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay, cool, awesome. So what we're gonna do first is we'll do a meditation, and then we will do the demonstration, and then we'll use the shadow cards. And now that because it's one-on-one, you'll also need to have items with you.
Hmm.
So if you would like, we can take a small little break here, maybe like 2-minute break for you to just grab
Okay.
some items. I would say grab up to, let's say, 4 items. And I'll keep my shadow cards with me. So usually 4 items. It doesn't have to be anything huge or important. It's just kind of the things that you feel called to. And it's kind of funny because you'll come back and afterwards you'll be like, I understand why I chose that one to come with me. Even if it's a fork, it'll make sense too. So it doesn't have to
Okay.
be anything specific, but it could be anything at all.
Just like four items that I'm called to.
Yes, exactly. Perfect. So if you'd like to, we
I
can,
feel like I see the four right now.
you do? Okay, awesome. Sounds good. So if you can just have them all with you in front of you in case we need them all. We'll move this here.
Okay.
Okay. And before we begin, somehow my computer got disconnected from the power source. So I'm just going to go plug it back in and then we'll begin in just a moment. All right. So whenever you're ready. Okay, so let me pull these decks out and I'll show you. There's also going to be a shadow card class coming up, so you're getting to see a little pre-demonstration here with them.
Is it specifically designed for family constellations, the shadow cards?
So these are from the 90s. These are vintage cards. You can kind of see because some of the paper is a little bit browned.
Mm-hmm.
They're not in production anymore, but they were made by the Shadow Vision Institute. There's another company that makes them, and eventually I'd love to make them.
Mm.
But I would say they were mostly used for psychotherapy purposes because like Carl Jung was very into like the shadow and how that can uh, kind of run our lives without us knowing it consciously. Like maybe I um, had this experience when I was very young where my mother said something about money and I felt like I wasn't worthy of having it. And so that's a subconscious belief that gets carried over into adulthood. And so that's your shadow that you have to work through in order to actually allow those things to come into your life.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's called shadow cards.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll show you kind of what it looks like here. Maybe I'll show you a few of the pictures here because they all kind of share very kind of poignant pictures here. Let's see. So I'll show you kind of what I would get intuitively. So like this is a mother carrying her child.
Mm-hmm.
Um, So what that could mean intuitively, it depends on whatever the issue is, but maybe you'll see in just a moment. It could mean like caretaking a career or a business, right? Or the birth of something brand new or moving into something brand new. So something like that. This is like a graveyard. So it could mean like the end of something. So it's kind of funny I pulled out this the beginning or the end, right? So this is like dirty dishes. So it
Mm.
could mean you got a lot of clutter in your life, or emotionally you have a lot of clutter, or things you haven't dealt with. This reminds me of my teacher. She has this saying that she says so often, which is uh, like if you want to do healing, you have to get your hands dirty and go in the kitchen and clean the dishes.
Mm.
And just like pretend the dishes aren't there. You have to get in there and actually clean them. She uses some, she cusses, so she uses other examples too. Like if you have poop under the rug, can't just leave the poop there. But she says the S word. I won't say it here. She's a very bold and fierce woman. I love her very much.
Yeah.
But this is the last one I pulled out, which is like an appointments book. And yeah, like it depends on the energy. So it could mean anything at all. So this, like if I tuned in, it could mean two things. So it could mean because it looks more like empty. It could mean if this was about your career, it could mean I could get the intuitive hit that you have to clear your schedule in order to move towards your dreams or what you want to do. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's just very intuitive. And you'll
Yeah.
see as we work through this. So that's the one deck. And this is the word deck. So you can see they work together this way.
Oh, okay.
So the picture goes inside of the words.
Mm-hmm.
And then it kind of adds on some more awarenesses as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now that we've got the items and we're ready to begin, first we're going to start with a meditation just to kind of get you in a place of receiving.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, just to kind of get our energies also kind of aligned so that we're together as we move through. Okay, so are you
And I have like two
ready?
paths of direction to go. So will you help me with that?
Of
Like,
course, yeah. So that's also why the meditation is really good because it's getting you into a place of like uh tuning more into your soul at a soul level, right?
mhm.
And then we will go in through the intake, talking about kind of where direction would be best for where you want to go. So that
Okay.
the meditation will help with that as well.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, so can you hear the noise outside?
No.
No? Okay, just want to make sure that's not a distraction. Okay, so let's go ahead, come to a comfy position and take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth and in through your nose and out through your mouth. And just release any thoughts of what happened before this moment or what's coming after this moment. Just coming into this present moment, releasing any tensions, any anxieties, or any thoughts that arise, just gently releasing. And if you notice any extra noises, just allow it to bring you into a deeper and deeper relaxation. And now I'd like for you to imagine a white light up above your head. And see that white light moving down in through your head and down towards your eyebrows, releasing any tensions, any unnecessary thoughts, just bringing you into the present moment and relaxing every cell and see it moving down through your back of your head, down through your nose and your eyes, and down your cheeks, and down your mouth and your chin, just softening every muscle, bringing you into deeper relaxation. And down through your throat, and the back of your neck, and down your shoulders, releasing any weights that you carry on your shoulders or on your back. See it moving down your spine and through every cell, every nerve that connects to your spine. Shifting you into this present moment. See it moving down through your chest and into your heart, filling every cell with love and with divine white light. And down through your belly and your solar plexus, and your back, and down through your thighs, tops of your thighs, and maybe just gently notice your breath. And see that white light moving into your lungs with every breath you breathe. Filling your lungs with divine white light. Now see it moving down through your knees, and down through your calves, relaxing every muscle, and down your shins, your ankles, and down through every single toe. And now I'd like you to imagine roots connecting from the bottom of your feet down all the way into the center of the earth. And see that white light moving from the top of your head down every cell and down through the roots that connect to your feet all the way down into the earth. And see your body releasing anything that you no longer need to carry. Any tensions, any stresses, any blockages, or fears, letting everything go back to the earth. Cleansing and clearing anything that no longer serves you. And now I'd like for you to imagine yourself saying thank you to the earth for this healing, for this clearing and release. And feel how much love is there. Now I'd like for you to imagine behind you on your right side, your father, and behind you on your left side, your mother. And behind them on their right side, their fathers, and behind them on their left side, their mothers. And see this going on and on for generations and generations until you see a sea of ancestors all behind you. And now I'd like for you to imagine yourself turning around to look towards all of them. And just take in how many yeses it took for you to be here today in this moment. How many people came together? How many yeses it took? How many struggles, hardships, but also how much love, how much togetherness. Now, I'd like for you to imagine yourself saying, thank you for giving me life. It is because of you that I'm here today. No matter how it was, no matter what happened, all of it, the good and the bad, led to me being here today. And I say thank you for all of it. Because I wouldn't be here without it. And I say yes to all of the good that you can give to me. And I leave the rest with you. And take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And imagine yourself turning back around to have all of the support of your ancestors behind you. And just feel how much love is there from all of those that came before you, wherever they came from. You know that wherever you go in your life, the support is there with you. You carry them with you wherever you go. And whenever you're ready, go ahead and wiggle your fingers and your toes. Come back to the room. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Cool. Okay. So you said that you have two avenues that you feel called towards.
Yeah, but then a third one came in.
Okay. So we'll go ahead and share with me kind of briefly what each one is.
Okay. The first one is about, so I am divorced. I've been divorced for 3.5 years. Um, so uh kind of the theme of wanting my heart to be open to the next relationship, and like briefly the patterns in my marriage that stem from childhood are not speaking up, not speaking my needs, and then the marriage ended with me not being seen for who I am. um so that's one.
Is that
uh
the one that just came in, or is that one that you came here with?
oh, that's when I looked at objects, that's what I was thinking of when I grabbed objects. The second one would be about my career, and I want to start facilitating groups that involve play. And I haven't, it's sort of new work to me. And I feel like I keep getting stuck on the copy and the promoting and all those little things. I just don't want to do any of that. Um, and the what came in during the thing is my relationship to hunger, which could relate to the first one. Um like I'm hungry often, and I feel like I eat more food than is necessary for my body, but I'm just hungry. And I'm hungry right now. That's what because I haven't eaten dinner yet, and so yeah. But that's been an issue for a long time. And I was like, my mom was like, you have to clean your plate. I was in the clean the plate club being raised, and um I had to sit at the table until I was done eating. And there was some other trauma at the dinner table with the way my dad treated me. He was teasing me. Um so yeah, those are the three.
Okay. So definitely, I feel like they are all connected, right? Uh, and you had already said that you felt connected from the hunger has to do with this other thing. And I feel
Hmm.
like those two are very connected as well and have to do with parents. And you also said in the first one it has to do with childhood stuff, right?
Hmm.
So with this work, it's more powerful if you are the one who chooses, this is
Hmm.
what I want to shift in my life. Because you said that you've already seen this work, so it can be very powerful. And I want it for it to be as powerful for you as it can be. So,
Yeah.
uh, and giving you your power would be to allow you to choose, this is what I want to see change in my life. So
Okay.
I don't want to choose for you, right? I can feel that there are certain ones where the energy feels a little more ready or open. But I kind of feel more called, as opposed to me telling you what that one is to allow you to choose which one you would like to work on. Because it can all be worked on. And also, this isn't the only opportunity, right? I do one-on-one sessions, I do group
Mhm.
sessions, and also like online sessions where there's bigger groups too. So um, it seems like, and I trust the field. I trust whatever comes my way.
Yeah.
So, and I've noticed as a facilitator, the groups that come together, they were meant to be there.
Hmm.
So it's like everybody has this thing where it's like, oh, my mom thing or my sister thing, right? So there's kind of this theme of people, and sometimes people need a more quiet or vulnerable space. And so one person comes, right? And so I always trust that it was for the best for that. And so I'd like to say this is your moment where it's just kind of me and you here.
Yeah.
And it was meant to be this way for a specific reason. So, what do you feel would be the best thing for this moment as we're working through this
I
together?
want to go into the hunger, and the hunger can go into, I feel like that's can go deep, whatever.
Okay. What would you like to see change specifically? If you gave me a picture of the outcome of today, what you would like to see shift, what does the picture look like?
Um, that I can eat a meal and stay full and be able to wait until the next meal. Um, but also hunger feels like there's something about a non-satiation. Like, okay, what popped into my head just now is like I'm a learner, and it's like it's always I gotta learn more and more and more and more and more. Like I'm not being satiated and I'm not necessarily digesting everything. Um, but it's just like, yeah, this more and more. And more. So, um, shifting that and I wonder if it has to do with being seen.
In your relationship, can you share with me what was the issue there that you
And
would not like to take into the next one?
um I very much like put him prioritized him and felt like he wasn't able to deal with his stuff, so I can't add my stuff in. I can't share what's going on for me because he's having such a hard time. And then there's also a big fear of anger, which like came from my dad. Like I didn't ever want to make him angry. So I'm very much like the peacemaker, number 9 Enneagram. Uh Um, yeah, not wanting to have the male upset energy at me.
So you felt like in this relationship, you were always giving something but never receiving something. Is that kind of what you're saying? Am I getting that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes you'll see me kind of looking up to the side. What I'm doing is kind of receiving and allowing myself to be moved by the field versus me and what I want to kind of happen. So
Yeah.
sometimes I'll take a break because I'm allowing the field to give me a question because it feels like we're like right there. And
Mhm.
I want this to be clarified. This is kind of where the work starts, is if we have a better clarified, more poignant point to begin, then it will reflect in the work we do. So let me see here. I'm a little bit more curious about your childhood. So you said something about the childhood is you feel is connected to the relationship. So
Hmm.
I saw like a little girl in my head. So you got to ask about the little girl.
Like I was very sensitive and emotional as a kid and very scared of my dad. So he was irritable and angry and teased me in a way that didn't feel good. And I did not like him growing up. And yeah, so just this very scared, timid energy. I was super, super shy. Um, like so it wasn't, I didn't feel safe being seen.
And you
And then
in your relationship you felt not seen.
well, with my dad, and then in the relationship, um, I just kind of well, another thing that happened in the relationship is that so growing up I didn't feel heard, and then I married a guy with a huge hearing problem. And like physically hearing and so he couldn't hear me sometimes, and I know that I just gave up. I was like, he can't hear me, then I'm not going to say what I want to say, kind of thing.
And what would you like to see change?
I would like to feel comfortable, um, or maybe not comfortable, but I want to be able to speak up for myself and for my needs, and um, be that way in the relationship. My next relationship, because I understand that I was, shut down.
And what was it? I know you talked a little bit about father, but what was it like with mother?
She was loving and affectionate, a little bit critical, and she the big thing at the dinner table was there were that I remember is that, which happened a couple times. So my dad never told me he loved me, but so when he was like teasing me, my mom would go, "Oh, Dave, why don't you just tell her you love her?" And then he would just sit there and be quiet. So she's kind of like trying to help, but then he's not telling me he loves me, so that's like great. That's not very helpful. Um, so that's like a memory that sticks out pretty big in my childhood, and it was at the dinner table.
Okay. Okay, so we're going to begin first with two representatives. So we will begin first blindly. Have you ever seen a blind constellation?
Um, I'm just laughing because of one of my items. Do you know what this is? It says "Love is blind."
But
It's from the Love is Blind show.
well, I guess there, that's perfect.
Yes, I have I've been alcohol once, where I didn't know I was alcohol.
Okay, okay. So yeah, so we're going to begin blindly first, but I will share what they are. I just kind of want you to tune into the energy first so that you can recognize and see what they feel like. And then I'll share with you later what they are. Some
Okay.
people as facilitators, they don't share, but I feel like it's very powerful when you get to know what they are because you're seeing it on a conscious level and taking it in a different way. So we'll start that way. I will pull the shadow cards as well for you. So I'll do it while you do that, and then I'll show you what comes up as the representative for this. Okay. So go ahead and pull the first one. So whenever you're ready, choose for this representative, the first one, and I'll pull one for these.
So you mean I'm just choosing an object, or are you going to
Well,
describe?
we'll both. So we'll do it together. So
Okay.
you'll have yours and I'll have mine.
No, mine fell. It's kind of weird because one of mine fell off, and then I don't even see it. Is that a sign?
It's blind.
Is that a sign that I'm not supposed to use it because I don't even know where it went. Oh, there it is. It went under the computer. Okay.
Wanted to hide.
Yes.
So I have the first one. So whenever you're ready, go ahead and choose this for the second one.
Okay.
Mhm. Okay. So can you share with me what are your representatives for the first one? Okay. And what's your representative for the second one? Okay. So what you're going to do you have space on your table in front of you? You're going to use that like the morphogenic field. So you need a little bit of space there. And you'll place them where you feel they belong. So I'll show you what came up as the first one. So it says lost. Can you see it well?
Uh, is it like trees by a river? I can't quite tell what that is.
Yeah, so my light is kind of a little bit back here. So it says lost, and then it is a tree that has fallen down in
I
a
see.
forest, but in the background there are other trees, and there's also a new tree growing on the one that has fallen. So like
Hmm.
after a fallen tree. And so that's the first one. The second one is this one. So it says helpless.
Mm.
And this thing, I don't really know what that is. It seems like it might be like a whip, or it could be something like looks kind of like a shocker, or because it looks like it's a little bit spiky on these edges. Can you see it well?
Yep. Yep.
So this is the second one. I don't really know what that one is. I've never seen that one.
Hmm.
Okay, so what we're going to do now is you will pick up the first item, whatever you chose for the first one, and you'll tune into the energy of that one. So just like we did in the meditation, you'll tune into your body and your presence, and I'll do it along with you to feel into it as well. And if you can keep your eyes open, sometimes that can help us, that can cause us to go into our mind space versus being in our body. So
Hmm.
the work is more about embodiment versus like mind stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
just tune into your body. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out. And if you need to, you can also like pat your knees or your thighs to kind of come back to your body if it feels like it's a little too overwhelming for you. Or you can also tap your feet on the ground to come back and take a deep breath in, out, and in, and out. So how do you feel when you're holding this item?
I feel like some coldness on my back.
Okay? How are you feeling emotionally?
A little anxious, very subtle.
So then just say, I feel anxious.
I feel anxious.
When you said that, I felt like a sadness kind of come up. Do you feel any sadness?
Um, very faint sadness.
Well, also, this is the power of this work when we talked about having a representative there, because sometimes the emotion is so close to home, right? And for somebody else who's kind of helping to process, they can see things that maybe we can't consciously see. So
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I'm feeling. but it might also just be because it's so close to your family system, it's a little harder to get to that feeling. But that's kind of what I'm feeling as I'm holding this item. So,
Yeah, sadness was definitely my go-to emotion
so
as a
then
kid.
how about if you say there is so much sadness,
There is so much sadness.
I feel like
I feel like
if I was to feel it,
if I was to feel it,
it would take me down
it would take me down
because there is so much.
because there is so much.
You see the release was
Mm-hmm.
a conscious awareness of this
Mm-hmm.
is it, right? This is what is present under the surface. And then there was a release. And that's the power of this work because even in just saying or acknowledging, that's the first step to healing, right? Just
Mm-hmm.
acknowledging what is.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, yeah. Anything else you feel in your body?
I would say like a tenderness.
Yeah. So then just say, this is a very
This is a very
vulnerable
vulnerable
part of me.
part of me.
I felt a lot of love in my heart and also like tears in my eyes because it feels very vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
This is
This is
my softness.
my softness.
Beautiful. I felt the release. I was like, a little relief. So I'm going to be representing this item. If you can step out of uh, your representation of this item.
Hmm.
Um, and so I'm going to be going back and forth between this representation and also facilitator. As facilitator, I felt called to ask you, what do you notice about this item that you chose for this representation? What do you notice about it?
Do you mean like physically? I mean
Like,
like it's got
yeah.
a big smile on its face, yet we were talking about sadness. That's what I noticed.
What else do you see when you look at that?
Um, well, he's got like a glove on. Um, which I don't know what I think of as like a boxing glove, even though it may be a baseball glove. That's what I think of like protection.
So maybe as yourself, this is me as your representative. So I'll have you say some healing sentence to me as this. Okay. So so if you say, because me as this representative, it made sense to me that you said the boxing glove. I'll go ahead and tell you what this is so that it makes sense to you consciously. So this is your inner child.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So to me, it makes sense why you chose this like toy kind of thing, right?
Yes. Yeah.
When you said boxing glove, it made sense to me because it was like I have to protect myself.
Yeah.
So if you
Totally.
can say to your inner child, I do this
I do this
for protection,
for protection,
to keep us
to keep us
safe.
safe.
And
And
then
what's that this? I do this. The protection
I have I have
I have,
protection mechanisms
protection mechanisms,
to keep us
keep us
safe,
safe,
even if
even if
it keeps us
it keeps us
alone.
alone.
I feel
I feel
safer
safer
when we have our wall up.
when we
Have our wall up.
have our wall up. Yeah. So I have emotion coming up with that.
Yeah. No, me too. And I felt like this tightness in my throat, like this deep sadness. But right when it came up and my tears came up, then I felt it go away. Like I left with like, oh, that's too much, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just go ahead and say, it's so big,
It's so big.
it's hard
It's hard.
to stay present with it,
Just stay present with it,
with the sadness.
with the sadness.
But now
But now
I'm dipping my toes in.
I'm dipping my toes in.
I'm here
I'm here
and I'm listening.
and I'm listening.
Me as representative wants to say, I like it when you're listening to me. I like to be seen. I like to feel. I like to feel heard. And it felt like you left when I said that. So if you, and this is like so powerful because nothing can hide, right? So me as representative, I'm like, I just know she left. She always leaves me.
What
And
do you
I,
mean when you say
yeah, so that's what I was gonna say. So when I say you left me, it means you disassociated as a protection mechanism. It got too big, so you kind of put up a wall, or you feel like you're not here present with me.
hmm
That makes sense?
what was going on for me was I was like, wait, what does she mean she's the representative? And then I got lost in that. Um,
Yeah, you left. So you went into your mind and you started
hmm
figuring out what are these things, right? And then
yeah.
you left me here.
hmm
Yeah, instead of being present with my emotions that came up. Because the inner child has so much emotions. That's if you look at a child and how they process emotions, it's big stuff, right? Like they
hmm
feel it all and then they go play. And they can teach us so much about ourselves as adults because that's what we need is to feel that primary emotion versus to just keep carrying it and shoving it like we were talking about in the shadows.
hmm
So that's the gift of the inner child is to uh, remind us about really releasing and clearing out our emotions versus to just hide them from ourselves. So that's
hmm
the gift of a child.
hmm
And they're very smart. They know if you've left, they're like, I can't trust you. You just left me here. So, so I'll go back into representation. So if you say, this is new for me,
This is new for me.
I haven't learned,
I haven't learned.
it's the right word here. Maybe it's more like I haven't had
I haven't had
the best examples,
the best examples.
and it will take me some time
It will take me some time
to learn a new way,
to learn a new way,
to learn a way I have never been taught.
to learn a way I have never been taught.
Please be patient with me.
Please be patient with me.
I'm like, oh, I do feel like so vulnerable. I'm like, this is so soft. That was my recognition. It's like, oh, this feels so vulnerable.
hmm
So just say, this is a very
This is a very
vulnerable part of me.
vulnerable part of me.
And it is, let me see what's my word here. And we will give this
And we will give this
to the person
to the person
that is safe for us.
that is safe for us.
I know
I know
you carry so much love
you carry so much love
and that you want to give that to others.
and that you want to give that to others.
I'm like, I don't want to cry. But then it's like I kind of shove it down. But I'm like, I know I have so much. So just say, you have so much.
You have so much,
And it's really beautiful.
and it's really beautiful.
I just want to give it a moment because I'm feeling the emotions coming. What I want to say, it's like thank you is what I feel. And then I had this recognition, like, hey, I want to go play now. That's how I felt.
That's why my business is about play.
What is your business called?
It's called the Creative Realm.
Oh, beautiful.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, that's so funny. It was like right after I felt that, I was like, okay, it's so lighthearted. It's okay now. It's all good. I just needed to see that or feel that. And and also when you were talking about your item and the smile, like that was the thing, right? So I that did make sense to me. I was like, oh, it does feel playful. And it
Mhm.
smile on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was hidden under the little glove. Does it only have one glove on?
Yeah, just one.
Yeah. Oh, how cute. Um, let's see. Anything else here? I have this kind of recognition, or it feels like a desire for a partner, like a partner.
Hmm.
So that's kind of like what's coming up for me now.
Hmm.
So let's go ahead and have you choose someone to represent a partner.
Okay.
Use an item, and I'll choose one as well. Okay, so what item did you choose for your partner? Okay, cool. Okay, so it says say yes, and then is that like lavender in the background?
Um,
Just trees, pink trees?
yeah, yeah, they're very purple, so I see why you said lavender, but I don't know if they're lavender, but yeah, purple trees. This is
You
so
had
near.
this hanging out on your desk?
What?
You said this hanging out on your desk?
Because it's partnership, and I really want to call in a partner.
Yeah, you know what's funny? The
Oh,
one,
go back. Yeah.
the tree one, and those are trees in your part.
Oh, yeah.
This is your inner child. So this is the one that has the tree that has fallen, so the old one, and then the new growth that happens from the tree.
Oh, I
And then
see.
what I noticed about that one, there's so many trees in that one. Yeah.
Yes, right.
Beautiful blooming trees, huh?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
I keep hearing the phrase, when a tree falls, does anybody hear it? You know that phrase, like, if no one's there, does it really happen?
If no one's there, did it really happen? Yeah, something like that.
And the hear, because I talked about hearing, I feel like that's something about that keeps popping in.
It makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. So I feel like there's something there we could talk about. Let me see. What does that saying mean to you?
Um, some it's like, if no one is there to hear you, did it really happen? Um, I don't know. It just feels like it's something about me not feeling heard. And then I shut down, right? I shut down in my marriage. It just feels like the fallen tree.
When I hear that saying, what I take from it is that the tree fell,
Hmm.
but just because you didn't hear it doesn't mean it didn't happen,
Yeah.
but it fell.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about, am I loved or do I feel seen? Just because you don't feel seen doesn't mean the person isn't seeing you.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
Hmm.
So it's your capacity to receive the love
Yeah.
and to know that it is there versus like it's like hmm, how do they want to say this? I say they, I mean my guides, like my spirit
Mhm.
guides. Because there's something here specifically that's very powerful that can be shared. So I feel like there's an example I could give. So if I sit here and I tell you, hey, I love you, and I'm feeling all the love, just because I felt it and I said it, doesn't mean you will have your walls down to actually allow the love to
Yeah.
flow to you. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, and that's
Right.
like one of the powerful moments from a previous constellation was me watching myself kind of turn away from the love from
Yep.
my family.
Well, that's what we do. That's what you just saw was it's protection.
Hmm.
And we don't do it consciously. It's
Yeah.
something that we learned to do because it was safer to, and it's called an interrupted movement, is what Brett Hellinger would call it, with a mother or father, where the child loves so much. And that's what we just saw, right? The child has such a big heart and is so open to everything. And if they come to the mother with all of this big love, but mom has some traumas from her own childhood or her ancestors, whatever she carried genetically, then the child is giving love, but the mother's like this. So even if she tells you with her mouth, I love you, doesn't mean that she can actually allow that love to come out of her walls. She's got the walls up that she had before you got here.
Hmm.
And you as child, you don't understand why she's not uh giving you the love or receiving your love energetically. And it's not your fault, right?
Hmm.
So when we're talking about interrupted movement, what we're saying is child kept going outward and kept hitting this wall. And so from the hurt, they eventually just closed off. And
Mm.
like, okay, I'll keep it all inside and I'll put my wall up. So this happened to mother, then this happened to child, and on for generations, right?
Hmm.
So that was what I felt like was very powerful about that saying is you're the one who can have your wall down and choose to have the wall down and be in a vulnerable space with those that are safe to do so with. Because you don't want to, the world is not always a beautiful place. Not every person is worthy of allowing that wall to come down to. But you just did it with me here. So you're doing it. But that was the powerful thing that I really felt called to share about that saying.
Hmm.
But I'll go ahead and go into, so this is the partner that came up from my shadow cards. So can you see it's a snail?
Mm. Oh, okay.
Okay, so it's a snail kind of crossing over to a bunch of like rocks over here. And
Hmm.
the outside says dismiss.
Dismiss.
Yeah. So does this mean anything to you?
Okay, the snail has a shell, and so that feels like it's protection of the soft. Um, and then you said, oh, it's dismiss. Uh, Feeling dismissed by my dad. Um, yeah.
What item did you choose?
Okay, so this is the third one.
This is the one that's representing your partner.
Oh, well, it's this card.
Yeah. So, oh yeah, we talked about what do you see?
The trees, and then this is a couple with flowers in the middle, and it says say yes.
Well, I feel like there's a reason why I felt called to have you focus in on this. So if you look at the picture,
Hmm.
what emotions does it bring up in you? Or what do you see about this couple specifically?
I it love, um, love, and yeah, they're looking in each other's eyes, and then there's like a whimsy, energy to it also. Whimsical connection.
Would you be able to step into your inner child so you can place that one in the field wherever you feel like it belongs on your table? So place that one down. Okay, and now pick up your inner child. So you'll hold inner child. And I'm gonna hold this one that we have not represented that you don't know, but it is still. So I'll hold this one. So how do you feel as inner child when you look at this one, this representation?
What, look at what?
This one that is still blind?
Oh, how do I feel when I look at that blind one as the inner child? Nervous.
I have this emotion of like sadness come up. And when you said nervous, that made sense to me. So just say, this makes me nervous.
This makes me nervous.
So it felt relieved when you acknowledged. This is scary for me.
This is scary for me.
And I felt called to share with you what this one is. It was brought in as feeling seen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because what was going through my head was performance anxiety that I get, and that's like all about being seen.
Yeah. Performance anxiety that you see in yourself routinely, you mean?
Like I'm just getting into performing more. I play instruments, and so playing in front of people, I get really nervous. Um, and it's obviously I'm being vulnerable and being seen.
Mhm.
So
You just say being seen,
mhm.
say being seen
Say being seen
scares me.
scares me.
It feels
It feels
very vulnerable
very vulnerable
to be seen by others.
to be seen by others.
But I have
That I have
a desire
a desire
to be seen with others.
to be seen with others.
It hasn't
It hasn't
always felt
always felt
the safest
the safest
in the past.
in the past.
It's been
It's been
very painful
very painful
to be seen.
to be seen.
That that last statement really made me feel very it felt constricted like in my chest and like a lot of pain and like emotion coming up. So that one felt very true to what this feels like. Does that
Mhm.
make sense to you?
Yep.
Yeah. There's something else that feels like right at the tip of my tongue to say. So I just want to sit with it so I find the right words here.
Okay.
So it's something like I want to be
I want to be
more open
more open
to being seen
to being seen
in my vulnerability
in my vulnerability
with others
with others
who are safe.
who are safe.
I want to feel
I want to feel
more connected with other people
more connected with other people
and to not have
and to not have
walls up.
walls up.
Yeah, that feels like my heart was like heartbreak. Do you feel that?
A little bit.
It's okay if you don't. Like I said, sometimes it's a little bit harder to access from someone who's so close to it.
Hmm.
But even then, like you saw me take deep breath. So like something shifted, something moved, right?
Hmm.
It's sweet. But I do feel lighter. I feel more open. I do feel open. And now I feel like there's something I'd like to say to you from this place.
Okay.
So let me see. It's something like, and I'm feeling like emotions coming up. It's something like, it feels so good. Like the word that came up was like friends. It feels so good to have friends with me and like to hear me. Do you have close friends that you
Hmm.
can think of?
Hmm.
Uh, are you okay to share? Like, maybe you don't have to share their name, but like, what is the feeling of that friendship? Or maybe if you tell me where you guys began or how long you've been friends.
Um, okay, I think you have one person been friends for um 2 or 3 years, and connection and laughter and being seen and cry. I cried the last time I was with her, and yeah, vulnerable.
As you were sharing that and like tapping into that feeling, I got so emotional, but like with love.
Hmm.
See,
Yeah.
like years are falling. I'm like, I love that person.
Yeah.
So, so say, I want to
I want to
feel more of that.
feel more of that.
I'm like, yeah, I do. That's how I feel. But that was really beautiful because I really felt that deep love for that friend, like
Mm-hmm.
gratitude and just, especially when you said we laughed together, that was where I really felt the connection. Yeah.
Hmm.
So, and now what's coming up for me is like, I desire that with a partner, a close partner.
Yeah. Do you want me to say that?
It feels like it's coming from this side,
Mm-hmm.
that sentence.
Hmm.
So it feels like if you just say I know would be more like acknowledging
Okay.
this
I
desire.
know.
I know
I know.
when I'm ready,
When I'm ready,
when we find the right person
when we find the right person
who makes us laugh
who makes us laugh
like our friend.
like our friend.
That really moved me. Yeah. I'm like, oh yeah, I love funny people. That's how I felt. I was like, that's great.
Yeah.
Just he just has to be funny.
Yes. Yes.
You'll have to send this to him. I'll send you this replay. You'll send it to him when you find it. She knew you were coming. How beautiful. So let's have you'll stay as inner child and
Okay.
step into the partner.
Wait, I'm staying as inner child, but stepping into the partner.
No, you stay as inner child, I'll step in as your partner.
Oh, you step in as partner. Okay.
Yeah. So just give me a moment. Let me wipe off my feeling seen tears. Okay, let's see. And shake it off. Right when I stepped into this one, I saw the snail in my head, and I was like, man, this is going so slow. That's how I felt.
Yeah.
So it felt like a little bit like yeah, like wanting more urgency to create the connection. Like it felt like this is slow. What were you gonna say when I said that?
With the partner, you mean?
Hmm.
So, um, I was just commenting on, I didn't think about that part that the snail is slow.
Hmm.
Um, I've worked with, different intuitives and mediums or whatever, and one of them says it's going to be like a year or two before the partner comes. So I feel like, okay, for me that like that's too slow.
Well, also what I want to say, because I've trained in like psych and so mediumship and stuff. I know what I want to say is also energy shifts. That's what we do here in constellations, right? So
Yeah,
as your energy shifts, as you shift, then things can shift.
yeah,
And also because that's what I shared, like you create your reality. And that's how companies vibrate to create. If you vibrate from a different frequency, you change your whole life. And that's why I love this work and I don't do readings, is because I'm passionate about changing people's lives
yeah.
versus telling them in a year, you're gonna win the lotto. Right. I'm more passionate about how do we get you into a place where you're in a career where you love what you're doing,
Yeah, yeah,
where you
totally.
are able to release money wounds or whatever it is, right? So, and that's what the quantum field is, right? Everything
Hmm.
all at once and you can shift something. So it
And
doesn't be.
yeah, and I have similar, like my word is timelines. I'm like, I'm gonna shift that timeline
Mhm. Yes,
because you can
it
shift.
is possible. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Let's see. There's something here that I want to say about the slowness, because it doesn't feel aligned with the conversation we had, that it means that it doesn't mean that it has to be slow. It just means that that's where the energy is right now. Um, let's see. There's also like a sentence that feels ready to come. So my sentence to you is, I'm here when you feel ready.
I'm here when you feel ready.
No, me
Okay,
is your partner. Yeah.
as my partner.
I'm
I'm here
here,
when you feel
and
ready.
you're stepping in as inner child. So just tune into your body, deep breath through your nose and out. I'm here when you're ready. And how does that make you feel when you say,
I the inner child feels scared.
just say, I'm scared.
I'm scared.
This is new for me.
This is new for me.
And I have this, it's a pain in my heart when you said that, but it's also an understanding. Like I understand why you feel that way.
Hmm.
I get it. So my sentence is, I know. So just say, this is very vulnerable for me.
This is very vulnerable for me.
And it is also
And it is also
very new for me.
very new for me. Is that what you said?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Please just give me some time.
Please just give me some time.
And my words to you are whenever you're ready. And it also brought me back to the recognition of the snail. And the word is, whether you take the time of a snail or you take the time of a cheetah. That's the thing I just saw as a cheetah. So however much time you need, I will be here.
Mm.
How does that make you feel when you hear that?
It makes me feel like, I don't know, like spacious, like I don't need to hurry. It's all okay. Yeah. Then you said I'm ready when you're ready, right?
And then also the word that came up was when the timeline lines up,
Mm. Mm. Yep.
we will find each other. It's the feeling. There's no, yeah, there's no rush on this side either.
Hmm.
And I feel that love, like I'm getting emotional as you get emotional, because it's like And it's an understanding feeling. Like whoever this is, they feel like they're very understanding and patient. Feels like you don't have to hurry. Yeah.
And you're speaking as the partner.
Hmm. Whoever it is, funny one.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
There's something else. Let me see. So I'm focused in on the like seeing card. So I feel like there's something having to do with sharing with you about that. So as your partner saying something like, I see you, or how does that make you feel when you hear them?
Good. Like, thank you. Um, I want to be seen.
So the words that are coming up is, I see you, even in all of your bigness, your big emotion, meaning even with all of that, I still see you. And I think it is beautiful how much love you carry. And I would love to receive that. Yeah, to say. And now I feel the love. You gave me the love. Did you feel it kind of move outwards?
Um, I don't know if I felt it go backwards.
It felt like an opening,
Hmm.
like an expansion. Like it did feel like you just being the heart right to me. Like when someone like you can feel it when someone looks at you and you feel like they just covered you in a blanket of love. Like,
Hmm.
oh, thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
felt.
Good.
I'm like, yes, that's how it feels from this. I'm like, yes, I got it. I got in there. I got in the wall.
Yes.
Cool. How do you feel? Do you feel complete?
Yeah, I feel good.
Okay. Yeah, it feels like this is a good place to kind of leave off here. I feel like there was a lot that shifted there. And
Hmm.
also like I just as we finished, I like looked glanced over at the time. I never look at time when I'm doing constellations, but it always ends like right at the perfect time. Yeah.
Mm.
Like talking about timelines, that's kind of this work you just jump in there and the field knows how much time you have or have
Yeah.
available. Because I've done them live, like at the Conscious Life Expo. Did you go to it? Even though
No,
on
I
TV?
don't even know anything about it.
Okay,
Like,
yeah. So the reason I'm asking for people who are rewatching the replay,
hmm.
is because this free event was made for people who went to the Conscious Life Expo. So it went out to an email list from to all of the Conscious Life Expo people. So that's kind of why I was thinking there was going to be people from there coming. So,
Where was the expo?
hmm?
Where was the expo?
So it was in
Oh,
Los
online?
Angeles,
Oh,
the LAX Hilton Hotel. It was February 7th, and then the email went out like March 17th or something. Um,
my friend that sent it to me didn't go to that.
oh, weird. Interesting. Or maybe, well, they have an email list, so it went out to the email list of all the people. So I'm sure their email list doesn't contain everybody that went to it.
Oh,
Because also somebody who did go, her name is Biana, and she saw the email. So it just went out to a very big list. I think there's like 35,000 people on that list. So it's a big list of people.
oh, yes.
Maybe she's gone before or somehow she was on their list. I don't
Yeah.
know. Interesting. But yeah, so that's kind of why I was asking. I do this in person. So that's why I was saying I've told someone before, it's like quantum time
Hmm.
where, um, yeah, it's like the field knows you have an hour. And so even with instruction, even with talking, and the constellation and the meditation, like all of it is part of it. And the field is like, I know you got 2 hours here. Like the Conscious Life Expo, we had, what did we have? We had an hour and a half, I think, 90 minutes, and we did a constellation. It's really beautiful.
Hmm.
But yeah, so for people rewatching, I want to share with you, uh, I do classes, workshops online. This is something I've recently started to do. And it varies. Like sometimes I'll get, 10 signups and 8 people show up. And then sometimes I think the most I've gotten so far, because I just started, is like around 40. And yeah, it's most I've had come join me is like 6, but it's growing as I grow, and I've just begun. So if you're interested in workshops and being part of these live and like getting your own constellations, now's a good time because these groups are smaller. So I get to work with people one on one. I get to work with people, in these little groups. And I like it this way because it's very intimate, but I have a feeling intuitively it's going to expand. And as more people share with their friends about this facilitator, or because I have a podcast as well, it's called Entwined, the Constellation Chronicles. It's on YouTube. If you just look up youtube.com/at vibrate to create, that's where you'll find the videos. If you want to be part of the workshops, you can visit www.vibratecreate.com/events. And that's where all of my like online stuff and also in-person stuff is. So I do all over the world. So I've been to San Diego, LA, Colorado, Alaska is one of my favorites. Hello to all my Alaska friends. I love Alaska. It's wild there, and I feel like I'm a wild woman. Meaning like I don't follow any rules of like how you should be or what path you should take. Uh I dropped out of college and went on a spiritual journey in the jungle, so that should tell you something. Yeah, so that's where you can find events. You can also reach out to me at alexis@vibratecreate.com for emails, for questions. Um, yeah, I'm just open to really wanting to share this work on a much wider scale. And that's why I made the podcast. So I speak to facilitators from all over the world, different countries, just kind of hear about their books, their knowledge, and yeah, I'm just passionate about sharing about this work because I know how powerful it can be for people. And yeah, how vulnerable and raw and how beautiful it is. So, Kim, I want to share with you. I'm so grateful that you are willing to share this with other people. It's a very beautiful thing that you've shared that can shift many people's lives as well. So thank you for coming and for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you.
It's
You're welcome.
powerful for me too. I think I needed to hear these things too.
Mm. Yeah. Usually medicine goes both ways, right?
Absolutely. No, and that's what I say as a teacher. I haven't mastered all these things. I'm not a millionaire, billionaire. But I learn from everybody's experiences. And as I help shift somebody else's energy, I'm shifting my own energy as well. So, and we attract people that need the same medicine that we need too. And it's kind of like the field wants to do healings with me too. And as I open up and help open up others. So thank you, Kim. I'm so happy you came today from Oregon. I love Oregon. It's so woodsy there. It's kind of funny. You pulled out the woodsy cards was the tree.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
Um, awesome. Yeah, it was a pleasure to have you here and to be able to share my
Yeah,
story.
thank you. It's so interesting that turned out to be this one-on-one thing. I wasn't expecting that.
Oh, it is very interesting, yeah. But like I said, I trust always. Um, yeah, I always trust that it is meant for a reason. And this is a replay that can go out to other people. So there are people joining in from different places. Maybe it's also just they weren't ready to experience this work live.
Hmm.
Like I said, like your ego will fight hard if it's about to be a big transformation.
Hmm.
And the submission form actually had a place where you could type in what you would like to work on. And there was
Yeah,
a lot of people that were like, I want to work on this thing and this thing. Did you type in something?
I don't remember.
No? Okay. Yeah, but like I had like a little list here of some of the names that really popped out to me that felt
Yeah.
really, because even just by your name, I can feel your energy. And
Uh-huh.
like what you're writing, you're subconsciously saying things. So like somebody put something like, um, she was talking about her sister and how since I was 7 years old, my sister was resentful because she had to take me with her to meet her friends and was just like sharing all these things. But really, what I got energetically was like this little girl that really is not in the right order because Bert Hellinger talks about orders of love, where there are parents standing behind you, like you saw in the meditation. Then
Hmm.
it goes from the parents would be the oldest child down to the youngest child. And what she felt like to me was like she was in front of her older sister, so not in the rightful place of the orders of love.
Uh-huh.
And we're not in our rightful place. We don't have the support from behind. And so it's like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I tap into the energy and can feel kind of what's going on in that family system. There was a
Hmm.
lot of really good ones. So uh I don't think I saw your name, so your name wasn't on the list, but I had a couple of people that felt really ready. So for those people who are rewatching, uh, these spaces open for me to do one-on-ones because I'm not expanded to where I can't offer one-on-ones, but I can offer one-on-ones right now. So if you feel called, definitely reach out to me. You can also book or schedule a one-on-one on my website, vibrate2create.com. There's an actual page for services where you can book. Um, yeah, so there's a lot of really exciting things coming up. I have a retreat coming up to Ireland in June, so June 5th to 12th. And we have kind of reworked that it's going to be inner child healing. So this is beautiful. We had Kim here today because we're going to be doing this on a larger scale for 8 whole days. Really, what it is to help people tap into their play and their fun because I feel like a lot of adults haven't allowed that. And that sounds like that's exactly what you do with your business.
Yep, totally.
Okay, so that's kind of the biggest thing is because I love adventure. And what I shared earlier with you, Kim, is I used to live in my car actually, and I would travel all over the place. Alaska was one of the ones I drove to, and Oregon. And that gave me a love for travel and like wanting to share that with other people. So I've done a lot of that myself by myself. And now I'm sharing with people kind of what I learned in those travels of the best places to go. So there's going to be a lot of really cool excursions included. So if you're interested in the retreat, you can visit www.orionretreats.com/family dash constellations. And that's also on my website on the events page too. All right. So thank you, Kim. You can always reach out to me. I would love to
Okay.
keep connected with you if you feel
Thank,
called to keep working with me.
thank you. Thank you,
All
Alexis.
right. Thank you, Kim. Have a good night.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye bye.